Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Love Me Some Sugar, and Mr. Truckleshine is back again. The topic that we have today that we're going to start with is, does sex equal love? And falling in love versus falling in lust. All right, but we can go ahead and introduce you again. Do you have anything new going on, Mr. Truckleshine, that you would like to talk
No,
about?
no. I mean, I'm here, just
Here and
chilling.
cooling and chilling.
Still building.
I ain't mad at that.
Build, building, understanding the self, and destroying anything that's negative. Yeah.
I know that's right. Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Mine was the 7th. His was January the
23rd.
23rd. Y'all don't put no spirits on them. I know people do that with birthdays. Somebody told me that. I was like, never tell anybody your actual birthday. I was like, wow, that's deep. But anyhow, back on subject. Do you feel like sex equals love, or sex could transition to love? Does it cloud love? Like, how do you feel about that? Just as an introduction, have you ever been pussy whipped?
No, I mean, I
Never,
can't. Never, 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 never.
never
Because I'm
pussy
not.
whipped.
I'm never a physical person first anyway. But I mean, mental stimulation is always my key first to go into physical stimulation. And I
I feel
think
like,
that's the basis of two.
I know
That's the
that's right.
basis of two different that's the two different aspects of the love and the sex is two different avenues.
Right. I feel like in a way, you know how people have that saying, live by the sword, die by the sword. I feel like
Hmm.
that can kind of your sword can be your dick too. Like if you live by your dick, and you can die by your dick too, because rather it's relationships, people getting too involved, um, men falling in lust thinking it's love, women doing the same. Like I've seen so much havoc out there when it comes to um, people, we're going to say K-wording their spouse because of relationships. And you know what I'm saying, them, the other person not wanting it, whether it be male or female, that is terrible. And
Hmm.
I feel like you can be pussy whipped. I feel like you can be so enthralled in good sex, especially for women, because I think it's like I can get the actual data, but a lot of women don't, they're not pleasured sexually. And when you find a man that will that takes the time to pleasure you sexually, a lot of times you don't want to veer away from that. And so I feel like that can put you into a certain mindset.
True. True indeed.
So do you
I
think
def-
you've stigmatized someone before?
I don't believe it's stigmatized. I mean, I believe it's pure release, yes.
So you've
'Cause,
given a woman a pure release to a point where she didn't want to leave you alone?
true indeed. True indeed. And I mean, because I mean, my understanding of it is because it was mental before it was physical.
Hmm.
And once it's mental and then it goes into physical is much greater than just going physical right off the bat.
Hmm.
Because the mental going to physical makes the physical more much heightened because the mind controls the body. So
Hmm.
it's going to be better than just going physical.
I think for women that's especially true because generally, women and men and women are faulted for being emotional, but men are emotional as well, but they handle their emotions differently. Like they may handle it in not talking to you. They may handle it in anger. They may, because you guys what's the word? Distinguish, or you guys, put it out differently. It doesn't mean that you guys don't carry your emotions. You know what I'm saying? You guys are carrying it, but you guys, I can't think of the word, like developing.
You don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you, well,
I
some of
understand.
them do. Like you can do that with anger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some women are, crying emotionally or whatever, but men are angered emotionally. It's still a way of dispersing your emotions, but in a way that it's off-putting. I mean, because me, a hyper emotional person, whether you're a male or a female, irritates me. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I'm not one of them women that's like, I don't want to see a man cry, you know what I'm saying, like that. But at the same time, when you're hyper emotional, for some reason, it irritates the hell out of me. Like, if you're not a child, like, you have to learn how to dictate your emotions and how to handle your emotions and govern yourself. It's not about you always being emotional. Like, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, configure that stuff differently. And it's funny because I can't even remember who I was listening to, but he was like a hyper emotional dude, whether he's quick to anger, that's a feminine trait. Because if he had a man in his life, he would learn how to dictate his emotions and not be so emotional all the time. And I'm like, I feel like that may be true or whatever. What do you think?
I don't think men know how to handle their emotions because they wasn't taught. And
But
when
what
they
if he
ain't
was raised
govern,
by his mother and he was hyper emotional?
if he was hyper emotional, that means then it's really out of control and it doesn't have a filter. Then that's even worse.
You don't have a balance,
Yeah, true. And
like,
if a man don't know how to balance his feelings, then that's set up for failure anyway. And if you could recognize that in the beginning of the relationship and not get tied into the sexual part, because a
mhm,
lot of women get tied into the sexual part and then they start coping with other situations
mhm,
in their relationship and oversee them because of the sex is so good.
mhm.
That's crazy. That'll leave you on a dead end.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And the crazy thing about it is, like, just to bring up two stories, and then we'll get back to the topic. One of the stories that just came out, it's a young man. He's like 25 years. I don't know. They said he was 25 initially, but I'm not sure because they said he was married, already have kids. He has another baby mama with another woman and all this
Hmm.
stuff. And basically he just, I'm trying to prevent myself from saying different words because YouTube always blocks you when you say certain words. He ended the lives of his two-day old baby, and I think the girl was 25 as well.
Mm.
So he basically ended their lives and went to his current girlfriend and with flowers and told her what he did, like she was going to be charmed by it. And after hearing an interview on, I think it's like the Cousin Pastor or something like that, he interviewed the girl's mom, and he also interviewed the girlfriend or whatever. And the girlfriend was very emotionless. The mom, of course, she was like, of course she wanted her daughter and her grandchild back, So
Hmm.
I say that to say, when you're dealing with emotions and people who may possibly be manipulative, because the girlfriend was so off-putting, it kind of puts you in the realm like, did she tell him to do that? And you know what I'm saying? A person can tell you anything, but you ain't got to do it. What you put to action is the problem. So I'm not saying that
Hmm.
it's her fault or I'm not putting fault on her for him doing a stupid thing and, doing, ending the lives of, two individuals or whatever, a 2-day old child and a young girl. But at the same time, it's like, was his lust for that girl that deep to where, you know what I'm saying, to make him want to do something like that? Or is he like, I have mental case, or?
Hmm. Yeah, because a lot of men does have mental issues. And a lot of us get into relationships not knowing those, and then when they finally come out, it be too late. And
I think
that's
that's
and that's a
scary though.
bad thing.
That's a
That is
very bad
scary.
thing. I think it's scary. Like I was talking to someone and I remember like because you see stuff or whatever, and then you know what I'm saying, you're like, maybe it was, you know, the wine he was drinking, or maybe it was this, that you give excuses for things you want to give excuses for to us as women. And I think that Eve song, Love is Blind, you know what I'm saying? It rings true a lot of times. Like, and I think lust is blind is more like it, because a lot of times you don't even know the person enough to say you love them, but you have such a strong lust. You like, you know what, man, nah, that was just that one time. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna, he didn't, it wasn't towards me. So what does it matter until it does? You know,
Facts.
that's nerve wracking a little bit though. Like that's kind of scary. It's women go through things that, you know, it's like, wow. Like even in Houston in the last couple of months, it was another story where, and she probably seen him as her trick or whatever. It was a white guy who basically ended the life of a young black girl, and you know, I think she was found in a hotel room or something like that. And another lustful situation, a lustful situation mixed with maybe greed, or a person thinking, you know, because of the city girls and all that stuff, you know, fuck them and leave them type of mentality. I feel like a lot of girls, even with Cardi B, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of promotion of using your pussy, because men are going to use you anyway. So you might as well use your pussy and get the bag or whatever. It seems like that's been what I've been hearing across the board.
True. Because I mean, a lot of women feel like that's all they got to offer. And if they could use that to their advantage to benefit them in a financial way, why do it for free and you could get the bag? And I understand that. And I'm saying it's wrong because I don't like that situation, because you're never going to find love in that situation if you're doing it that way. But if you're doing it that way just to get the bag, then that's your road. And I mean, if you want to ride down that road, then do it.
But do you think men are
But
even
if
trying to
you,
find love?
I feel men trying to find love, but they don't know enough knowledge of themselves to real. They can receive it, but a lot of us don't know how to give it back. It's like they want to be receivers of love and not givers.
I think that's true, but I also think it's true that um more times than not, if a man is hurt once or twice, women get back up and you know, for the most part, we kind of brush our knees off and go on about our business. But I feel like men hurt in a different way. So a lot of times when they are, like, when they're hurt or whatever, in whatever the predicament and situation is, they're like, fuck these bitches, I'm gonna be a whole ass dude now. You know what I'm saying? So now they're governing their lives as a pimp, or you know what I'm saying, fucking as many women as they can. And you know, and it's a hurt that happened when they were teenagers or in their early 20s, and they're in their 40s and, you know, late 30s, still carrying that same hurt to every woman that they've you know what I'm saying, poured into, for lack of a better term, came in.
Because they using the mental image. The mental image is the understanding and the wisdom behind it. It's like when you go through something. Like if you stub your toe on a rock every day when you cross the street, sooner or later you're gonna look at that rock and be like, "Damn, I'm gonna miss it tomorrow," and then you're gonna walk on the opposite side of the street or in the different direction of that rock.
For avoiding the hurt.
Yeah, they're avoiding the hurt, and it comes out in a negative aspect of thinking that, oh, if I get her before she get me, I win,
So then
because
when you,
the ego.
yeah, well, my thing is, I guess it's like, in a way, I feel you feel like finessed a little bit. Like, I feel like a lot of men are finessing women, and women are taking heed of it and saying these niggas are finessing us. So we gonna learn how to finesse them. And it's both damaged mindsets. It's both, living in a lower realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not an elevated mindset to want to always hurt somebody. Like, it's not an elevated mindset to always walking on guard. Like, I mean, that's terrible. Like, it's I don't know. I guess when you've done the work on yourself and you keep on running into or attracting hurt people or people who don't want to sustain a relationship, I think that becomes bad too. And I feel like in the realm, in the world that we're living in now, people aren't trying to find love. They're trying to find lust. People are trying to get their kink off, meaning people are doing the weirdest things. I mean, the fetishes are flourishing. Like, people are finding kinks in ways that I've never even fathomed. Like, this one guy, when I was on POF a lot, talking to a lot of people on my lives or whatever, like one of the guys, he had a fetish for underwater sex. Like, having sex underwater, that was like his biggest kink or whatever. Of course, people with toe fetishes, I've even heard people with fart fetishes now. Some girl, she's become a millionaire off of farting in a bottle, filling it up and sending it to people. I was like,
crazy.
what? It's just bizarre. Like, the kinks are getting ridiculous. Like, people aren't just having, because you could be a freak with your partner or whatever, but it's a lot going on right now. And honestly, because of all of the disease, all the craziness, all the spirits being shared, because that's what I believe. Like, every time you have sex with somebody, you sharing spirits. There's been studies done now where, I guess they vaginally scraped inside of a lot of women's vaginas. I can get the numbers if you want to actually talk about this one day, but they scraped several places in several women's vaginas and found that there were several layers of semen still in their vagina from years prior. Like, we go through a cleanse every month as a woman, and a woman still in your reproductive years of your life. So there's skin being taken off of that. I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy to me. Like,
True.
so you're literally, every time, if you don't use a condom, you're literally leaving a piece of you in every woman that you're skeeting in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
Like, that's gross, but that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. It definitely is. But I truly believe, to get back on the subject of love though, I believe the lust is 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that some men, through the hurt from the past, tend to use that as a guide,
Mm-hmm.
but then they do have on the projection of what they want. Men do know what they want, but if they don't see that counterpart in their relationship that they into or whatever, or one night stand or whatever, they don't see traits of that.
Mm-hmm.
They mark it as their territory and move on. And it's sorry to say that though, but it's the same as a woman saying a man has bad sex and she leaves.
But my thing is, what about when you don't leave and you, like, what's the point of not addressing it but stringing someone along that you don't want to commit a relationship with? Like when, like, if you're in lust and someone, because it can happen, an imbalance can happen where you're in lust, or you're falling in love and the other person is pure lust, and because they want to get their rocks off whenever they want to, they then say, I'm not gonna say nothing or whatever.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing though. That's when the knowledge comes in and the wisdom comes in. You know what I'm saying? You got to recognize it, because if it's there and it's present and you see it and you address it and he says that it's not there, then it takes upon you to really recognize the situation and say, oh, he's saying one thing but acting another. Action
Hmm.
speaks louder than words,
That's a
and that's
fact.
100%. And you got to go off that.
That's true. So how long does it take you to when you're dating a woman or whatever and getting to know a woman, how long, and you really can't dictate how long. Okay, if you were talking to your daughter and talking to women out there, what would you say to women that if a man doesn't have any type of inkling of speech regarding commitment after XYZ, then you should go on about your business?
I mean, you should go about your business, but not leave a person as a friend, because I mean, that's where it should stem from first. I say believe it in friendship first before you even get into the physical, because once it starts from mental, that friendship bond should goes first.
That's true.
But a lot of people don't do that because they so keen into going the physical part, because the lust and the attraction is so strong,
Hmm.
and they just want to do it. And a lot of women think that confirmation through sex anyway. They're like, oh, if he got good dick game, it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. I'm staying with him after that. But nah, for men, that is not. No, that is not that. Oh wait, for my in my book, it's not that
I
for
feel
me.
like it's because you probably dealing with a higher frequency. Like I feel like that's a low frequency of thinking if you just want to have sex. Like if you just want to have sex, like you like that doesn't breed self-control. That doesn't breed anything relative. That's literally saying you want to fuck. Like dogs fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my
Hmm.
homeboys, he had like he breeds dogs or whatever. Like they'll fuck anything. Like his dog, the mother dog was a what do you call the dogs when it's a litter? I had a litter of dogs, and then
Hmm.
basically he's had two litters of dogs with his aunt.
Hmm. Yeah,
Really
I
think
know.
about it. With his aunt, he's had two litters of dogs with his aunt or whatever, and they be fucking all the time, and this shit is weird. And so you can't compare. I say that to say you can't compare yourself to animals, and I feel like right now, as a black society and black community, we need to level up because we're dealing mentally on a low frequency of living, far as financial, and I'm generalizing because there are people who aren't. I feel like I don't know, like where are we going? Like we're
I
diminishing
believe
ourselves.
even
At some point, we got to stop dealing with the excuses of, oh, the white man. You know what I'm saying? Like we have
true.
to literally see what we can do to make a change happen. And I feel like whether it's dealing with each other in a lustful way, I think it's so many broken people dealing with other broken people that if you feel like you have worked on yourself and healed yourself and you're dealing with another broken person, it's just hard to you really have to try to have a discerning spirit and just leave motherfuckers alone.
I truly believe that we're in the age of Aquarius, when things are dying off and ending, and new beginning and new way of living and new way of mind frames is coming into attack. Like some people is rising up, like mentally, they mental capacity is leveling up.
Hmm.
But some people are still left behind.
But
Like, and
those
it's
people
going
gonna die
so
off.
fast. Yeah. And we dying off at a fast rate. So everybody trying to do everything at once to live, because they don't know when God gonna call them back. So that's why everybody trying to live their best life for real. And if a person that never had sex like that, you know what I'm saying, on the totem pole of 1 out of 10, they had like two, they gonna try to up that. and they're gonna try to hit everything and everything that's moving. And they ain't gonna let nobody know. And that I'm not that type of dude, but that to me leads for destruction in my mind anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna catch something or you're gonna have a lot of kids.
So what do you think about so in your opinion, do you believe sex equals love?
I don't believe sex equals love because sex is always going to be a release. It's a temporary. It's a temporary gratification physically that only lasts for a little bit. Like the next day you wake up, the rejuvenating of your body is going to remember it on intensity of how good it was. You feel me? And if it was bad, then you're going to look at that person that, why did I waste my time? You feel me? And
Mm-hmm.
then and that's another thing in sex too. If do you have the strength to overlook the badness of sex if you really like that person and want to build with them? And people don't ever talk about that.
That's true. I don't think honestly, I don't think they care about that. I don't
I
think,
know.
yeah, they like, shit, I don't really, people don't care about that. Like, I don't even know if that's a factor in people trying to find anybody anymore. And it's funny because I honestly, when I was younger, I thought it was like an age thing. I was like, man, these people like, but I know dudes like in their like that's 50 years old and still thinking like they're in their like a 23-year-old sexually. And far as a relationship goes, they may be successful in business. They may, have a plethora of information and education and all that good stuff. But when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, they are on a 23-year-old's mindset. And I think that's so off-putting, especially when you're trying to find someone to build with or grow with. Like, it's like, dude, like, are you gonna ever grow up? 'Cause I guess I thought, shit, if you dealing with somebody in their 40s or whatever, you automatically, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be in a better suit to than someone, in their early 30s and 20s and all that stuff. But I think it's like age is relative. Like it's
Yeah, we
like when
a
you
lot
did
of people always expect the person to be what they want in their mind.
yeah.
Nah, that man ain't go to college because you thought he did. You see what I'm saying? He ain't have multiple partners to get the sexual education that he needs to satisfy a woman. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
could be 40 years old and he don't even know what a clitoris is. You feel me?
that's
Dead
terrible but
serious.
true.
Like for real. Like, well, a lot of women and men a man expect a woman to have all those characteristics that they have in their mind floating around like, oh, she gonna know how to do everything. No, just because you think it don't makes that it poof, it appear. Mm-mm. That's why I say all aspects of love and lust, and when it hit the sex, you gotta grow and you gotta learn. It's like a blank canvas. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta learn together on it. And we don't really take the time out that our expectations, and when we do lay down to have sex, we expecting on 100% scale that they supposed to know everything what to do.
That's true.
The
And
woman think when she open up her legs, the man gotta have a big ass dick, and he gotta know how to stroke that thing.
a lot of dudes with the bigger ones don't know what they're doing with it, or they just think like because they stuff is big, that's all they got to do is go ahead, pow pow pow, nigga,
Yeah.
look at that
And if
shit
you
out
don't
of
got a lot
pocket.
of experience in sex because the memory, the cells, the skin is the most sensitive on the tip of the head anyway. So if you ain't constantly having that and that memory, you know what I'm saying? Because that's
That
why you got
stimulation.
tender, yeah, you got tender dick niggas. Like tender dick niggas, they bust early because they don't have that memory, that restraint. For real,
I never heard of
that
that,
restraint.
but
Yeah, you gotta. I'm telling you, it's in books though. You gotta read Kama Sutra books. It's in those books too. Kama Sutra books. It tells you about the sensation and the tenderness of, I'm saying, it makes you ejaculate faster and all that.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm. Do you think people use sex as a tool, like men and women? Do you feel
most
like,
definitely, most definitely.
because I was just sitting back and thinking one day, and I was like, some people seem very hypersexual. Like they literally, if a girl walked by with fully clothed, but you can see the shape of her body, automatically dick hard. Like I feel like at some point you have to be like a samurai. Like you have to have self control. Like, but I feel like some men don't have any self control. Some
I think
women
that
don't
could
have
be a
any self
disorder
control.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, just like that woman that had 45 fucking orgasms a day without having sex, and just it comes over her. Just like men, the blood rushes to that part every time. You just think about it. This man get hard. It's crazy.
I mean, as a woman, if he my man and his dick get hard when I'm around, I'm not mad at it. But I never thought about it being like a disorder.
It can be.
And I have heard of that woman that you're talking about. That it was a white lady. Was she from like England or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And she like, at first I was like, shit, that's nice. Like, man, I wish I could have one day of
No, but
that.
every day though, every
Every
day,
all
the
day.
mind, the mind is, yo, I swear, purification is a motherfucker though. If you constantly keep having it, it's going to get boring. The mind always goes on something repetitive, and then once it loses the value and interest, it gets annoying.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But when I initially, because that was years ago when I initially heard about that, I was like, dang, that'd be nice. Because
Hmm.
I mean, I mean
Yeah.
TMI, but I didn't, I really didn't have an orgasm until I was like in my like in my 30s for sure. And I
Oh.
mean, my birthday just passed, so I'm 37. So I literally just started, or whatever. But I think because of that, I was like, dang, that'd be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like just give me
Yeah,
24
because
hours
yeah,
of
because
it.
yeah. For real, I understand that for real, and that's what man. That's why it completes the relationship for a woman. Because if a woman can have that, I mean, that's like giving life back to a person, man. For real,
It's like eating ice cream all day without
for
the fat
real,
or without the sugar.
for
The
real,
what is it? The endorphins in your body has been continuously released.
for real.
Like,
Yep.
I mean, I think initially it probably would be a good thing. I don't know. Like you said, it can. I can see it becoming an annoyance and a nuisance to you trying to like go to the grocery store, you dealing with your kids, or you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying, everyday life, and always having to deal with that. That could be some bullshit. Even I don't know if you've seen a lot. You be on TikTok and stuff. Like, have you
Hmm.
seen the like the little uh I think they came out years ago. I remember my friend having one years ago, one of those vibrating thing. I think matter of fact, I think I first heard it around the time Janet Jackson was with Jermaine Dupri, and she was saying she had like a vaginal ring or whatever that vibrate.
Yeah. Hmm.
So one of those vibrator rings you just put in your oochie cooch, and then you know what I'm saying. Your man can is a button, he can turn it on anytime like that. Like I guess it's become more popular now again, but that shit came out like shit 10 years ago, if that.
Hmm.
And like I mean, it's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like after a while, I can see you getting irritated because of it. I wonder how that lady's doing now.
I know. I think they nipped and snipped something.
Oh, really? But to go from
Yeah.
having it all the time to not having it at all could be bad too, you know?
I know.
Because I know in
And it's
Africa, they snip I don't know what part of her clitoris it is, but they snip women's clitoris so they can't have orgasm. And then that's like a tribal ritual. You know, when a woman gets a certain age, They snip her clitoris. So the man can be pleasured by her, but she can't be pleasured by the man at all.
That's
Which is
crazy.
very terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
It's
It's a
some women. It's some women don't. I don't. I mean, I only had one woman in my lifetime say, "Nah, you can't eat me out." But I always wanted to know why though. Like, I really wanted to ask her why though. Like, what's wrong? Like, why you won't? She's like, "Cause I never did it, and I never did it to her." I was like, "Man, if it's that bad, like she, man, wanted to fight me over it." You know
It
what I'm
might be
saying?
sexual trauma from her childhood. It may
Yeah, I
be
know. That's what I was thinking.
right. It may be she might not just like it. That might just be like a real sensitive area for her. Like some women, I mean, it's extremely sensitive. Where, like you said, it becomes a nuisance or an annoyance when
True.
it's being played with and continuously, touched or
Hmm.
whatever. Because sometimes somebody, I mean, you might be like poking, like somebody poking you, like it's irritating. Stop.
Hmm.
I don't know, but who knows? It can be a whole list of different things why that could be.
Yeah, but I mean, I believe that if you want to experience love through lust, I believe that, you know what I'm saying, go mental first. Mental first. Because I mean, I believe that going mental before physical is the best thing.
I believe that too. And I believe us as women as well as men, not to do the 90-day thing, not to do the 2 weeks, a month, or anything like that. But once you've built that rapport with your mate, I feel like then when you introduce sex into play, it's I mean, because the fact of the matter is, anybody that you've had a conversation with, that you've built somewhat of rapport with, that you have a inkling of respect for, you're not gonna want to hurt them the same way that, what I'm saying, a one night stand, or
True.
what I'm saying, no, like a person that you've never had a conversation, you don't know them, you don't, what I'm saying, know how they heartbeat, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know like I wholeheartedly and totally agree with you when you say that. Um, and I know you said you have to go, so any last words?
I mean, I just want y'all to be safe out there, you know what I'm saying, and do the groundwork, the homework on whoever you talking to before you make moves. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people out here say they some one thing, but they really not. You know what I'm saying? And just love yourself, man. Want the best for yourself. That's all I say. And God bless.
Well, I appreciate that, and I concur wholeheartedly with what he just said. I mean, love yourself, and know your worth. Because if you don't know your worth, somebody can play with you every time. Let a man love you wholeheartedly before you start to fall. Because if he doesn't love you, I don't know, for me as a woman, I feel like the man should love you more than you love him. Not saying you don't respect him and want to be with him, won't cheat on him and stuff like that and all that good stuff. I feel like a woman should wait till a man at least has feelings for her before she even starts the loving process, because unfortunately you can get hurt that way of not knowing if he actually cares for you, and you start the loving process with the situationship or the relationship, or you veering towards relationship, and he, in his mind, you just a fuck buddy. So know who you fucking with, like he said, but I'm putting it in a more raw way. But know yourself, love yourself. And this has been another episode of Love Me Some Sugar. You guys have a good day. And if you would like to subscribe, do so. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter with the same emblem, Love Me Some Sugar. All right, peace.